So I want to let you guys in on a little secret, and the secret is the build I used in my Birth of Sky Deathwish solo video earlier this week. Yes, this is the build video that goes along with that, so if you would like to see a gameplay of this build in action, just go back to Tuesday's video like 4 or 5 days ago, and there it will be. Plus, I'll be using this build in my upcoming video, which I promised at the end of my last video, so if you don't know what that is, go back and look at it. It's pretty exciting. But let's jump into this build. This build is my second Deathwish solo build, and it is a little bit different than the first one and could be considered a little overpowered, but you still need quite a lot of balls, quite a lot of skill to use it. But let's get into it. You can see by the title that it's using the Anarchist Perk Deck. So as always, that's always the first thing I go into when I do a build, because sometimes there's a little bit of confusion on how these things work, because sometimes they're a little worded funny and sometimes need a little bit of explaining. So basically all the Anarchist Perk Deck does is it takes your regular health in the game and it slashes it in half. So you regularly start with 230 health points. When you use this perk deck, that actually goes down to 115. So when your armor does break, you've only got 115 health. So that's going to go away really quickly. But on the flip side of that, it actually increases your armor. It converts 50% of your health to 120% of your armor. So you get an extra 120% of your armor. And then when you finally max this thing out, dealing damage will grant you 10 armor, but this can only occur once every 1.5 seconds. So you get more armor back. So if you start losing it, just start doing damage. Every 1.5 seconds you can get 10 armor back. And that's really important. And you'll see what else we stack onto that to increase armor recovery rate, and increase dealing damage to get armor back. So this one is all about keeping that armor super high, so that fragile health that we've got is not going to take a hit whatsoever. So before we get into the weapons, you can see a brief overview there, but let's jump into the skills. This is where it all comes down to. Gonna go straight into the meat and potatoes here. We're gonna jump straight into Enforcer. This is where we're using probably the most of our points. And we'll start on the left here. Shotgunner, so you saw at the beginning there on that front screen, we're using the Judge shotgun as our secondary with high explosive rounds. So we're going to use Underdog to get up there. Now, when you're playing solo, and especially in Birth of Sky that I just did, you've always got cops around you. So when 3 or more enemies are within 80 meters of you, receive a 15% damage bonus, lasts for 7 seconds, blah, blah, blah. We all love Underdog Ace. And now I go to Shotgun CQB purely for the reload. When you're in tight spaces and you want to use the Judge, you've got to be able to reload that super fast. You can fire it super fast. Why not reload it super fast? And that's as far as I go in shotgun skills. I would have liked overkill, but I'm really using my Assault Rifle as my primary here, not the shotgun. So just quick reload is good enough for me. I do have a suppressor on it, so you'll see that I've got some silent killer skills later on, but let's get to that in a little bit. Now then, let's get our tanky side going a little bit here. So resilience ace. So again, here we are, armor recovery rate increased by 15%. And of course, a mandatory in any build, reduce visual effects of the duration of flashbangs by 75%. Can't stand those things. They're such a pain in the ass. We're going to go Transporter basic just to throw bags further. Now, again, talking about armor regen, Bullseye Ace, you regenerate an additional 20 armor for each successful headshot, and this stacks with the basic version, so we're actually getting 25, and you can't get this more than once every 2 seconds. So with the dealing damage for every 1.5 seconds, getting 10 armor back. If we get headshots, we get 25 armor back. You can see where this is going. It's all based on increasing armor. Shock and Awe increase the armor recovery rate for you and your crew by 25%. Again, boosting the armor up. Die Hard, you take 50% less damage while interacting with objects. That's kind of important when you're solo, because everyone's going to be looking at you, everyone's firing at you, and we're already going to be taking tons of less damage. We've already got tons of armor. We don't have much health, but we've got tons of armor. So the less damage we take, the better. So when we're interacting with things, drills, money bags, whatever it may be, we're going to take 50% less damage. So very important. Then, of course, all the way up, Iron Man Ace. Our total armor value is increased by 30%. So now we're actually increasing armor as well as the regeneration that we got from the other skills just below. And then, of course, we unlock the ability to wear the improved Combined Tactical Vest. Another great one. Then let's go over to this one here, Scavenger Ace. We want to, every 6th enemy you kill will drop an extra ammo box, which is great. We are going to be taking ammo bags, so that's also good. Extra lead, so now we're going to get the additional 200% ammunition. We're only taking Saw Mask here in order to get to fully loaded. The Assault Rifle I choose, and obviously this is turtle preference on your part, but I'm using the M308. It doesn't have a lot of ammo on it. Fully loaded gives me an extra 25% ammo, so that's great. Didn't really want to spend the extra points to go for fully loaded ACED. It's 8 points. It's a lot. You can spend it on other things. You'll see that in the Birth of the Sky video where I'm using this build, I only use one of my own ammo bags anyway. I've got a spare one, so fully loaded ACED would be a bit of a waste in my opinion. Into Technician, steady grip just to get some extra accuracy and stability on my weapons. This one's a funny one, lock and load. Now I hate, or it's kind of growing on me, but I actually hate how it looks when you're running with your gun up constantly. But it is kind of cool. You can now hit fire with your weapons while sprinting, so it looks a little funny. Check it out in the video. And then here we go. Your LMGs, SMGs, and assault rifles gain 15 more bullets in the magazine, so that's kind of cool. Just adds a little bit more on when that's stacked with fully loaded. It gives you a decent amount in the starting ammo for your assault rifle. Now we're going to go into Ghost. We're going to take duck and cover, of course, and parkour. Got to have those in every build. Second wind ace. Just using these to get up here. I do like second wind. If that armor does break, I know we've got tons of armor. If it does break, you want to get the hell out of there. So getting that 30% movement speed is going to be a huge help. Optical illusions, not sure if this is a dodge skill or if it requires any other things, but to be 45% less likely to be targeted by enemies, I don't know, I'll take that. I'll take any percentage to be less targeted by enemies, especially when I'm solo. We're going to take the professional. You gain 8 weapon stability and 100% snap to doom speed with silenced weapons. We are going to be using 2 silenced weapons, as you'll see. And then specialized killing. Now, this could be classed as a little bit overkill. When we look at the weapons, you'll see the math behind it. But we're going to deal 15% more damage with all silenced weapons. And if my math is correct, we're doing around 400 damage with our silenced weapons. So this could be a little bit too much. We'll see how it goes. I missed Mastermind, so let's get those real quick. This is going back to the assault rifle skills. Stable shot, you gain 8 weapon stability. That's across everything, not just the assault rifle. And then Rifleman, your snap to zoom is 100% fast with all weapons. I kind of like that, especially when the sniper's on the other side of the map. This is great just to be able to snap to zoom real fast and try and take them out as soon as you can. Now, the biggest gripe that I have with assault rifles is the reload speed. Increase your reload speed with SMGs, assault rifles, and sniper rifles by 15%. So it's not a huge boost, but it's some kind of boost. I didn't want to go for an extra 6 points to aces because you need a headshot, and then it only reduces your reload time by 40% for 2 seconds. I did try it in this build, and as long as you just keep going for headshots anyway, you don't really need to reload that much. So I feel 6 points is a bit of a waste. Let's jump over to Fugitive. Now, this is where this build takes on another level completely. Martial arts, you take 50% less damage from all melee attacks just because of training. Now, that one's important. I mean, you've got to get this one anyway in order to go up to the next tier. But on solo Death Wish, especially on Birth of the Sky again, you're in the sewers, you're getting pushed around like crazy. Why not take 50% less damage? Pumping Iron, didn't need these, but I did need them to get up to Frenzy Ace tier. We'll skip over that because we're not really meleeing at all. Berserker, now this one is extremely important when it comes to damage that we're going to be giving out. The lower your health, the more damage you do. When your health is below 50%, you will do up to 100% more damage with ranged weapons. Now that is absolutely fantastic. I love it. So our health, based on getting Frenzy, is always going to be below that 50%. So we're always going to be doing up to 100% more damage when we use our guns, and that we'll use that equation when we go and look at the damage on the weapons already. And then of course Frenzy, this stack with Anarchist is absolutely insane. So we're going to get this aced. Our damage that we're going to take is actually reduced by 60%. So we're actually getting a massive reduction in the damage that we take. But when this is basic, you only get 30% of your maximum health and cannot heal above it, but you take 30% less damage. But that 30% is kind of trumped by when you get this ace. So basically what that means is, and when you see the gameplay from Birth of Sky, my upcoming video that I use this build in, you'll see that I actually start the heist with not a full health bar, which is kind of weird to get used to. It's actually pegged at 30% of my maximum health. So you'll see that it's just a little bit above a quarter of my health. But what that does is it automatically invokes Berserker all of the time, and I'm getting that 100% more damage with my ranged weapons. So that's why this is very special. Let's look at the guns and let's take a look at some of the math on these bad boys. So I'm using the M308. Like I said, you can use whatever rifle you like. I do have a suppressor on this thing because I'm using Silent Killer. I do have the damage up to 190. Now, if I'm getting that Berserker 100% boost, I'm now at 380 for this thing, which is absolutely insane. And I love it. So I like the way that this looks with the suppressor on it. I like the way that it moves in the gameplay, so that's one of the extra benefits. Got no boost on this thing, got no custom. Didn't use the scope mount, didn't really need it. My accuracy is already at 100. I have the assault light. That is my favorite laser module on these things. I don't like the way the other ones stick out or come far out from the side of the gun. This one really suits me well. I did put a sight on there. I don't like the iron sights on this, and my favorite sight is the Seymour sight or the Speculator, so I went with Seymour on this one. And then for the stock, I would recommend go for the Jaeger body or Jaeger or whatever you want to call it, because you get an actual massive increase in stability there. Instead of just the 8, we'll get 12, which would bring this to 92. But I don't actually have it. You can see it's not available, but I do have the Abraham body, so I'm still getting the 8 stability boost there. And then let's jump into the secondary now. This was really important for me, especially going back to Birth of Sky. Very important. I tried Birth of Sky with the China Puff. I tried it with the RPG. I tried it with, what else? I tried the GL40 as my primary. I tried it with the Judge secondary. Finally went with a combination of having the high explosive rounds on this bad boy. I love the skin on this too. This was the only suppressor that I had. I have the suppressor. I do have the Silent Killer one on another one. I didn't want to switch it out. I actually like how this one looks. So I'm actually getting a big damage bonus from this at the same time. So my damage is currently 184. And of course, Berserker is going to work on that too. My ammunition is, of course, the HE rounds. I have the military laser module on that one too. I also have a stability boost, but it doesn't really make any difference. I hate sights on these things. And I have my greed weapon skin, which I love. And that is pretty much the weapons. Of course, I am using the ICTV. Now you can see what this does here. So my base armor was 170 with all the skills and everything and my perks, 230, and now my total armor is 400, which is absolutely insane. Like I said at the beginning, my base health was regularly 230. That gets split in half. So I'm very fragile on the inside, but extremely, extremely tough on the outside. Regular stuff here, Molotovs, buzzer, and that's about it. Give this one a try. I don't think it'll be long before Frenzy gets nerfed. This will probably go down to, I don't know, maybe they'll make the basic version the Ace version and do the basic version of 15%, who knows. But right now, take a look at the gameplay, take a look at the upcoming gameplay. It's pretty impressive build as far as I can tell. It is impenetrable and I love it to pieces. So give it a try. Let me know what you think and I'll see you guys in the next video.